Welcome to new Business Central Launch Edition 2025 Release Wave 2. Today we will try to explain what is new about APIs in e-documents. This is something what we planned and now finally this is live. So my name is Aleksandar Totovic, the product manager for this functionality, and I have my colleague with me today.
Hi, my name is Magnus and I'm one of the engineers for this feature.
Thank you, Magnus. So let's see why we actually deliver this functionality as functionality technical feature in a Business Central. So first, we wanted to enable flexible and code-free integration. What does it mean? It doesn't mean that it should be first channel of communication. It can be, but this is not intended for that. This is much for to make some parallel or additional channel communication in the case that you want to make some specific situation to send through some, for example, to upload to OneDrive for specific customer or SharePoint, and not to code for all this channel of communication, because probably you will send to PayPal network, but you want for specific customers to do something, to deliver some specific way. So you can use easily Power Automate or some other similar tools, no code required, so you can make full flow to do whatever you want with your e-documents. And you can use in other directions as well. So it will definitely enhance accessibility, collaboration. Breaking all boundaries related to e-documents communication, because we will generally deliver some of channel of communication, but you can do much more with external sources without any problem. And the last but not the least, definitely, it enable your usage and creation of new custom agent using Copilot Studio, because now this is available with APIs. You can easily use with Copilot Studio and orchestrate with your custom agents. So this is probably one of the additional most important reasons. So what do we have inside? You can use e-documents as a trigger for the processes, so you can orchestrate additional alternative flows. So whatever you want, as explained, SharePoint, OneDrive. Now I'm trying to imagine some other sources, so you can do everything what is not part of the Business Center, or just send an email different way, because maybe you do not use Microsoft 365, so you can use some another mail channel. So this is on you. You can easily set up this in a Power Automate or some other similar tool. And on the other side, as I said, you can generate e-documents from external sources. So you can receive PayPal or some other XML, specific XML format, not maybe only PayPal, some different we do not support, and you can easily generate new e-documents in a system based on this external information and from various different channels. So what is inside? We deliver 5 APIs and 2 business events. So I will not read all of them, you can see them on the screen, and I will switch to my colleague Magnus to show you how it works in the practice.
Yes. Yeah, so I thought that to actually show like these new APIs, let's actually do some demos in Power Automate, where we already have Business Central actions that we can use out of the box with these. So the first one we'll start with is actually setting up a SharePoint. So whenever you put a file on a SharePoint, we will create an e-document in Business Central. So let's see how we can do that. I have set up this SharePoint folder, and I will just select upload here and select files. And then I will choose this demo XML. So, and now before it actually gets to Business Central, let's just take a look at the flow that I created, so then we can also inspect the APIs. And I have one here that's called Create e-document from SharePoint. So let's open it. And as you can see here, the first 2 actions are actually default SharePoint actions of just when a file is created, we just get the file contents. I read that into a variable in Power Automate. Important to notice that we expect the contents of an electronic document in base 64. So you can see here that I'm using base 64 of the file contents before I am using the Business Central standard action, create a record. I have put my environment in, and I'm using the API category when Microsoft eDocument version 1, and here we have the new eDocuments table that you can select. And then it's just filling in the parameters. These are all automatically loaded by Power Automate, so that's like super handy and smart, very easy to use. You just put in one in document entry number, then you have to select a service that exists in your system. So I have chosen eDocuments because I have that on my demo tenant. then the file contents and a name for the file, and then I want to process it whenever we actually receive it into BC. Here you could also say no, and then it would just be put in BC and you would have to manually go and do that. Let's actually, before we jump into BC, let's see if we can see that the flow was run, because that would be good. So we have a history here and we see that 18 seconds ago this flow was actually successfully run. And if I go to BC now and navigate to inbound e-documents, we should have the latest document that was received at 3:16 that is actually processed. You can see that the processing status is processed and the document type is purchase invoice, and there is actually also a finalized invoice that I can go directly to. So in this, I'll just skip over the e-document completely and go into the purchase invoice that we now have in the system that have been read with a desk, and is it 2 chairs? I think it is 2 chairs, yes. So that is an example of using Power Automate to actually, this as the source, getting a file from a SharePoint, for instance. It could be OneDrive, whatever you desire, and then hooking it up to creating a e-document in Business Central. The second flow I wanted to show is when we send. Right, so we have a business event that happens whenever an e-document service status changes. So I will go here and just go to one of our customers, and I just have a default e-document sending profile set up, and I will just create a sales invoice. So I will put a reference number here, and then I will take a desk here, and I'll just post it. And that is good. We can go to the e-document, and we can see that this one is actually not connected to any integration. So the document is just exported inside of BC, but I have used the flow that I created to actually get it out of BC. So let's go back to my flows here. We'll take the one that is called get e-document from a business event, and we can just edit that so we can see what actually goes on. And this is one of these business events that we have added that's called e-document service status changed. You get the data back, you just pass it with the JSON as I did here. And then you can see that the condition I have set is that the e-document service status has to be exported for us to actually move forward. So in any other case, for instance, where you're importing stuff, this flow would not actually trigger sending an email. Then I did all of the APIs we added just so we see all of them. The first one is just to get an e-document, and here you can use the e-document ID that we got by passing the JSON when this business event was run. And here you can use the e-documents table, and that would just give you the raw data or the fields back from the e-document. Then you can use the get e-document service. In this case, I'm using also the e-document service ID I got back from the business event, and that will give me all the information we have on the e-document service. Then you can find the specific service status. So that's a combination of both the e-document and the service. So as you can see here, this is a little bit more complicated, but in essence, I'm using an OData filter query to set up that the e-document entry number here has to be equal to the e-document entry number, and that e-document service code has to be equal to the code or the service code. Good. So then you run that query, that will give you that specific e-document service status. And then finally, we can actually get the file contents as well. So we have this API that is called e-document file content. And here you can see that I actually set the filters for the e-document entry number using exactly the same as I did before, just you can also do it this way in Power Automate for the e-document service code and the entry number. That will then run. And then once that has run, we have to call a more direct path, which is e-document file content / file content, where we get back a service or system ID. We get that back from the first instance we ran here. So that will return me a system ID of this specific content. And then I'm just calling the action get an image, file, or document with this system ID, and that returns me the contents. And then I set up to connect to my email account here, and it just says here and it is an invoice, and then I decode the base64 I get back from the action. So while I have been talking, I've also received an email, and as you can see here, this demo invoice, it says here is an invoice, and in the attachment is this XML where we can just open it up and you can see that this is Pebble that was exported inside of Business Central. So there's many options, of course. I just chose to send it as email as that's very easy to illustrate, but you could hook it up to whatever is possible in Power Automate. And that's it for demonstrating the APIs.
Thank you, Magnus. So you can play with that. You can see what you can achieve with different options. And now, before closing this session, please find some of the general resources for Business Central. 6 different interesting sources for resources. And then do not forget to subscribe to our LinkedIn profile to check all our new weekly news and announcements, so on. And do not forget to watch more videos, not only this one. We will have 3-4 additional videos for e-documents, what is new in this release, but also you can find what is new related to other functionalities and previous editions. So please go there, aka MSBiz to YouTube. Thank you for watching this video.